back, your Townians. What's up, Meg?
Hey.
We did it. We're back. Feels like forever since we've been in the studio. We double dipped. We did a double recording because we went on vacation. It was nice, wasn't it?
It was.
We got another fun little episode that is inspired because of that trip. I mean, it's fun for us, not so fun for the person that is in the story, obviously. But hey, you do stupid things sometimes. What's the old saying? Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Yep.
This person, I think, got both of them. But like I said, we had a little vacation. We went to Lake Placid and explored, for our anniversary and everything. And we stumbled, maybe pun intended, on a tasting room for a brewery called Prison City Brewery. It was awesome, wasn't it?
It was.
Spent a lot of our time there and just kind of enjoyed it. It was a good environment, good beverages, and shout out Matt from Prison City Brewery up in the Lake Placid location. Loved it.
Agreed.
Yeah, so as we were sitting there, it was a pretty educational, apparently, visit because there was a lot of, things that were going on there. And then the story came up from Matt that was saying that there was this lady that was in here and thought that the beer called Crispy Boys, which is a lighter lager, I believe. Don't come at me if that's wrong, but it's a lighter beer. And she said, didn't he say that she refused to drink it and actually left because the name Crispy Boy she thought was inspired by the electrocution chair?
Mm-hmm.
So got up and left. So I was like, you have to tell everybody that was the inspiration from. We don't know what inspired the name Crispy Boys, but I did happen to potentially write an episode of the Yore podcast that we're about to do from the Prison City tasting room in Lake Placid. So if you guys are in the Auburn, New York area, that's where the main brewery is. If you guys are in Lake Placid, highly recommend going to check out the tasting room and tell Matt that we sent you. He's probably not going to know what the heck the Your Town podcast is, but tell him the guy with the beautiful woman and the guy with a really big beard sent you. He will probably know that. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe if anybody knows the real story behind the name, they could let us know also.
Yeah, whether it's, the actual brewery people. But, I mean, at this point, do you think that the actual brewery people would admit that, yeah, it's inspired by the electrocution chair? And because there is a prison in Auburn in the, and it's Prison City because of the places.
And there's a theme behind the names of all their drinks.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to go with the electrocution chair. So we dove into this, and if you didn't read the description, you just stumbled upon it. We're going to tell you the first electric chair execution, the real story of William Kemmler. It's a pretty shocking episode. So should we do the intro and jump right into this?
I like what you did there.
Thank you.
That's nice.
I do the intro?
Yeah.
When?
Now.
Okay. So I figured we should probably really set the stage. We should really kind of get you to understand the significance of William Kemmler's execution. So let's do this. You ready, Mike?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we just kind of wanted to look at the context of capital punishment. Kind of started off in the late 19th century. It's a much different time than now. So by the 1880s, hanging was actually the most common method of execution in the United States. However, it was often seen as a inhumane, and sometimes the hangings went terribly wrong, leading to prolonged suffering for the condemned. So let's go ahead and enter Thomas Edison and George Westinghouse. You ever heard of them?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're two giants of the electrical industry who were locked in a fierce battle known as the War of Currents.
Dun, dun, dun.
Ooh. Edison championed the direct current, which is known as DC, while Westinghouse backed the alternating current AC. Edison, eager to discredit AC as dangerous on opportunity to use it in its executions, suggesting that it was more suitable for killing than for general use. He even coined the term Westinghoused to describe being executed by AC. Interesting battle, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So now let's introduce William.
And then they merged.
Did they?
To create AC/DC.
Was that the right one?
Sorry.
That was good. My brain didn't go that way. And their symbol is the little lightning bolt.
Yeah.
Oh, so you heard it here first, Yorktownians. AC/DC, the band, actually got the inspiration from Auburn Prison with the electrical chair, and thanks to Prison City Brewery. And all of this coming together. So AC/DC, if you're still touring or a AC/DC cover band, look up Prison City, do a free show thanks to Yorktown. But invite us, because I'd love to go there, would you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, we're in. Let's introduce William Kemmler, the man in the center of this story. He was born in 1860. He had a troubled life, I think, like most people that end up in this situation. After his parents died when he was young, he turned to alcohol and crime to cope, which is very fitting in this story, right?
Mm-hmm.
March 29th, 1889, in a drunken rage, he kills his common-law wife, Tilly Ziegler, with a hatchet. He was quickly arrested, tried, and sentenced to death. Given the recent development of the electric chair, Kemmler's execution became a test case for this new method of capital punishment. So the electric chair was actually developed by Alfred P. Southwick. What do you think the P stands for?
Paul.
You think so? You think it's Alfred Paul?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was thinking like Perlowitz or something. Okay,
Alfred. Is that a real name?
Alfred Paul Southwick was a dentist. Believed it would be a more humane method of execution using the electric chair. So the New York State government, convinced by Edison's arguments and Southwick's design, decided to adopt the electric chair as the state's primary method of execution. The chair was built and installed at Auburn Prison. It was a complex machine that involved straps, electrodes, and a generator to deliver the fatal current. If I remember, and I actually try to get onto the Yorktown Instagram or maybe even on the Beard Laws studio one, I will try to post some pictures of some early editions of this chair. And Zach, if you're listening, you want to keep running that. I haven't posted anything on the Yorktown Instagram. I'm sorry, I've got the Beard Laws studio. Check it out. beardlawstudio.com. Maybe we'll put it there. Should we put it there?
Yeah.
Or Yorktown.com. One of the two. Turns out it's a lot to keep managing all those websites, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to teach Meg how to manage websites.
Yeah, okay.
That's a no. Sorry, we haven't got your $50,000 a year yet to get you on camera. But that's them. That's on them. That's not on me. All right. So Kemmler's case didn't proceed smoothly. His lawyers argue that the electrocution was cruel and unusual punishment, violating the Eighth Amendment. The case went all the way to the Supreme Court, which, spoiler alert, they ruled in favor of the state. Public opinion was actually divided. Some saw the electric chair as a scientific advancement that would ensure quick and painless deaths, while the others pretty horrified by the idea of electrocuting a human being. Could you imagine? It's the late 1800s, and you're going, they're going to do what to this person?
Right.
But it's got to be better than hanging, what they got going on, right?
Mm-hmm. So
obviously newspapers covered the upcoming execution extensively, adding to the sense of spectacle and controversy surrounding it. And according to the Buffalo News, Kemmler, who was intellectually disabled, asked correction officers, and this is the quote that was in there, said, "Don't let them experiment on me more than they ought to." So let's get into the morning of August 6th, 1890. William Kemmler was led to the electric chair at Auburn Prison. The execution was attended by doctors, officials, journalists, and probably some other people. Kemmler was strapped into his chair, and the electrodes were attached. When the switch was flipped, he was supposed to die instantly. However, things didn't go as planned, Meg.
Yikes.
After an initial 17-second administration of high voltage electric current, the doctor declares Kemmler dead. Then Kemmler, he just lets out a pretty deep groan. And actually, witnesses reportedly screamed, "Turn on the current!" Reports on the execution say that after 2 minutes, the execution chamber then fills with the smell of burning flesh. 2 of the witnesses fainted. Several others were overcome with severe attacks of nausea. Newspaper actually called the execution a historic bungle and disgusting, sickening, and inhumane. Yikes. Can you imagine the doctor's like, "Yep, he's gone." Ah! Turn it back on. Let's not maybe...
it's not funny, but...
No, but I mean, let's not maybe take the guy out. Maybe just let him live a couple more hours, or tomorrow, maybe let him recover and then do it. I don't know. I wasn't there. Not that I'm for or against it, but it doesn't seem to make sense. 2 minutes. He was supposed to go instantly. Whew. The botched execution horrified those present and actually led to a public outcry. It was clear that improvements were needed to the electric chair if it was going to be continually used. So, despite the gruesome nature of Kemmler's execution, the electric chair continued to be used and was improved over time. It actually became the standard method of execution in many states until lethal injection was actually introduced in the late 20th century. The Auburn prison chair had 56 victims just from 1890 to 1911.
Wow.
Yeah. Leon Kozlowski. I don't know how to say that. Czolgosz. Record yourself trying to say that name and send it over to the Beard Laws Instagram. We'll see how close you were. He was actually the slayer of President McKinley. He was one of the ones that ended up in the Auburn electric chair. And Chester Gillette. Sounds like somebody with a razor company. Can't confirm. Same name. Not a fan of razors. Not a fan of Chester. He was actually the slayer of Grace Brown. Those were just a couple of notable people that were in the Auburn chair from 1890 to 1911. Yeah. The execution of William Kemmler marked a turning point in the history of capital punishment. It raised ethical questions about the death penalty and the methods used to carry it out. Today, actually, Kemmler's case serves as a grim reminder of the complexities and controversies surrounding the death penalty. It also underscores the intersection of technology, ethics, and law. Wild, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can't thank everybody enough for taking some time out of their busy, or maybe not busy day if you're listening to us. Shout out to our sources, Wikipedia, and the deathpenaltyinfo.org. We got a little bit of a quote. You want to read the quote, Meg?
Going to the electric chair will be the supreme thrill of my life. Albert Fish.
Yeah, so Albert Fish, may have heard of him, may have not heard of him. But this was something that Zach was very passionate about writing a story about, and I started to write something up because I thought this is going to be an electric episode. Albert Fish was a disgusting individual, a very terrible, terrible person. I found a lot about it, and it's going to be a wild episode. So it's either going to be next week or the week after, but spoiler alert, we got an article about Albert Fish coming your way, your Townians. So we can't thank you guys enough. Meg, I can't thank you enough. Let's go back to Placid. Get ourselves some Prison City. Prison City, if you're listening, want to be the potentially official beverage of the Beard Law Studio, like the Your Town podcast, slide into those DMs. All right, that's all I got. You got anything else?
No.
Okay. Well, seems like a good time. Hopefully you guys have a good rest of your week, day, month, year. That's all we got. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Okay, bye.